Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be doing my review for the current episode that just aired a couple days ago on the CW network of The Flash, which is season 8, episode 6, since the return of The Flash. The show has actually been on a hiatus briefly for the past about 3 months now. Besides, obviously, Superman and Lois and the other shows on the CW network, which are Supergirl, Batwoman, and also Naomi. The Flash, and also Legends of Tomorrow. The Flash has not been on, so it's like been one of the consistent shows that they've had on for the last couple of years that has not been on briefly. It's been on hiatus, and we're picking back up right where we left off. Obviously, it's on Wednesdays now, so it was on the 9th, obviously, on March 9th, 2022. The Flash usually airs on Tuesdays, but they moved it. Basically, kind of swapped it out for, I would say, Legends of Tomorrow, which airs on Tuesdays now, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, they changed them both to Wednesday. They both used to be on Tuesday, yeah. So obviously, we're still waiting to see if the Flash obviously gets a ninth season. Also, if there's a eighth and final season for the Legends of Tomorrow as well. So both of the shows obviously are going to be in the renewed for one more season, because obviously that's a question mark that we're still looking for. I just saw an article recently that the Flash showrunner says that the actual eighth episode of the season finale of the eighth season, the final episode of the eighth season, which is the season 8 season finale of the Flash, could actually be the last episode of the show if they were not going to be renewed for a ninth season. So he said that it can serve as a series ender in case the show obviously doesn't get picked up for ninth season by the CW network, but it should hopefully it does. It should, obviously, because the Flash has been on for many years now on the CW network. It's been one of the main flagships in the Arrowverse as far as consistency, besides obviously the Green Arrow beyond the longest with that, and also Legends of Tomorrow. Eric Wallace, who you can see right here, is the showrunner, who also talks about, I think, a little bit in this article about what could possibly happen if the show obviously doesn't get picked up for ninth season and the final one. Grant Gustin obviously said he's been done with the show for a little while. He's trying to focus on other things and acting. We'll see obviously what happens with that. Other people on the show who are no longer there obviously, have been coming and going. Obviously includes Cisco, who was played by Carlos Valdez, Harrison Wells, obviously. And obviously Cisco's girlfriend, who also left with him. So those characters are gone. Some other ones like John Diggle obviously come and go, but with crossovers and stuff. So it depends on what happens. But currently what happened on The Flash, where we picked right back off, was a continuance of what happened with Nora Allen and Bart Allen, Barry Allen and Iris West Allen's kids. So Barry Allen's son's right here, Bart Allen, The Flash, Impulse, and Excess, which is his daughter, Nora Allen, right here, her superhero name. And basically what happened is they went back to 2042 after they left 2022 when Barry Allen and Iris West Allen, their parents, renewed their vows. Everything seemed fine. The next thing you know, they saw Jay Garrick, who is their uncle. Jay Garrick is the original Flash. He showed up there at their apartment and with food to eat, cheeseburgers, and they were surprised to see him because he's supposed to be dead. So that's when they figured out that they screwed up time in some type of way, and they had to fix everything. So in 2042 in Central City, they were on their own. They did interact with their actually they couldn't interact with anybody. They even had to sneak around and try to use their speed. They did use their speed to interact with their uncle, Joe West, the police officer / captain. They couldn't actually talk to him and physically, along with their Aunt Cecile, who obviously Joe West has married and has a kid with. Obviously, they couldn't interact with them. They only could look at them. The only person they did interact with was Edward Thawne, or Eobard Thawne, the police captain, obviously there, who used to date Iris, obviously, and they did run into Iris, but didn't physically she didn't physically see them. The only people that they interacted with this whole episode was this girl named Avery that Bart liked, who knew all about quantum physics and obviously time travel and whatnot, and they convinced her that they were from the future and they needed her help, and they obviously were very convincing because they knew what they were talking about. They're very smart along with her, as not just being speedsters and superheroes who know about science, since their dad obviously is Barry Allen, aka the Flash, who knows about this stuff himself with the Speed Force and time traveling and whatnot, obviously going back and forth throughout time and the past and future and present as well. They couldn't interact with anybody besides those couple of people because of obviously the ripple effects that could take place within the timeline. The Royal Flush bank robbery / casino robbing gang, they showed up in this episode. They're already formed because of the situation that happened with them. Bar Allen and Nora Allen screwed up time, so they were formed immediately already. They were supposed to be formed late on, months down the line, because they screwed things up. The Royal Flush Gang got together and they tried to rob a casino and they just kill people. And they obviously saw that in the future that there's about 30 people that die in a mass casualty murder bomb slash robbery incident that happened at this casino that they had to stop. But obviously, because it was their fault, they had to prevent it from happening. They also had to prevent happening their Uncle Joe West from being shot in a robbery by a robbery suspect at a bank robbery who was taking jewelry. So Bart Allen had to step in and save his Uncle Joe West, obviously, and he pushed the bullet with his finger away from him, so instead of hitting him in the chest and also possibly dying and obviously bleeding out or being seriously injured, the bullet went through the glass shield at his squad car, and he was able to save his life, arrest the bad guy, and they moved on. And essentially, obviously, like I said, they were trying to fix what they screwed up in this episode. No one could help them. They only told Jay Garrick, their uncle, who was the original Flash, at the end of the episode what happened. And he told him he understood and he wasn't upset with him. Obviously, Bart Allen was upset with himself because he kept screwing up. He said, I can't be the Flash. I can't replace my father. I'm a failure. Nora kept explaining to him that they'll figure it out. They had to do it themselves because they couldn't obviously ask anybody for help because obviously it was too dangerous for them to do that. Bart got hit by the King, who was the big, huge guy, who's the enforcer in the Royal Flush. He punched him. He knocked him around, knocked him back pretty far. He hurt his arm, which obviously hurt him from using his speed to get people out, the hostages out of the casino. He got a couple of them out, but they caught on to him and they asked who's out here helping everybody. He had to jump up and reveal himself as the casino manager, which obviously hurt him because the Queen of the Royal Flush Gang can read minds. She read his mind, and she found out he was from the future and knew a little bit about him. And obviously, I obviously hurt Bart Allen. Obviously, no hostages were hurt, but obviously that still was a bad situation because he could not help his sister deactivate and take out and dismantle all the bombs that were in the casino hidden under the I guess you can call it the underground section of the casino where they have like the security kind of cameras and area, the data center and whatnot. She took all the bombs, Nora, took them all out, threw them up in the air, and they all exploded. It was fireworks, obviously. But obviously people could have been seriously hurt and injured because they knew that when they saw the article on her watch that it was from the future where they currently were, that because they screwed up, all those people died. So they had to make up for that and make sure that they saved all those people from dying and also saved their Uncle Joe West from dying as well. And that's exactly what they did. And so we'll see what happens in the rest of the show. Next week, I didn't look like they're going to be on the episode, but Barry Allen and the rest of the team is back. Some brush for Iris West Allen's hair disappeared on the couch at the end of the episode for this week. It was like an end credit scene. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll see what happens. Avery was the only person they can interact with and talk to. We saw obviously other characters from the show in this episode, obviously, but including Barry Allen, who was in a coma still from him getting hit with obviously his lightning when he became the Flash. So they went to go visit him in the hospital by themselves, obviously. So we'll see what happens. The show is very fun and entertaining. Obviously, last couple of seasons, have been okay, but it's still pretty good. But I would say this situation with the time traveling, going back and forth, and Nora and Bart coming back has been very good and still very nice. I think the Godspeed fight was very fun last season when Barry Allen going against Godspeed, them also getting involved as well, and Jay Garrick, and obviously they're trying to save each other as a family. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, throughout the rest of the show, obviously with them coming back and jumping over from their timeline, their time from 2042 back into 2022, where their parents are. Obviously, and they obviously were not born yet, but they get still to see their parents, even though they are still haven't even been born yet. It's still crazy to see that, but it was fun. It was entertaining. It's nice. I hope the show gets renewed for 9th season. That's basically it. I didn't have any issues with the episode, other than the fact that they kept bringing up Chilblain and he was being talked about by Killer Frost, but we still have not seen him for the past 3-4 episodes. So I'm trying to figure out, are we finally going to see him? Is Cisco Ramon going to come back before the season's over and make some appearance? And we finally get to see him in his Argus position, which he's supposed to be in charge of their research and development department, but he's supposed to have a big, huge position. We still have not seen him there. Camilla, his girlfriend, who was a photographer, used to work with Iris West, is supposed to have her big, huge position at another newspaper. So I'm hopefully hoping that we're actually going to see that this season, instead of them just keep continuing to bring it up and not actually show us that. And also, are they going to fix the situation with Ralph Dibny and Sue Dearborn? Are we finally going to be able to see the end of closure to that? Because remember, the guy who played him on the show got kicked off years ago for racist tweets that came up from the past, old tweets. They had not replaced him. They showed somebody playing him, but he had a tin can hat over his face. He kind of looked like dubstep. It's not dubstep. I forgot that group. It's not dubstep. It's But anyways, yeah, he had a tinfoil. Daft Punk. Yeah, Daft Punk. He looked like that because the guy who Ralph Dibny had his face melted kind of looking like a waffle. They never showed his face, but he just had the helmet on talking, and he looked like a robot slash Daft Punk, obviously, or the Knight Rider, Mask Rider. Yeah. If you ever watched it, Kamen Rider, he was all in green. He looked like a beetle, like Beetleborgs, kind of like that, But he had a Kamen Rider, had his motorcycle. He was a solo act by himself in the 90s. I used to watch that when I was a kid, also with Beetleborgs as well. That was different because it was 3 kids. But the same people that made Power Rangers made that, with Saban and Saban and Shuki Levy, and VR Troopers. But anyways, all those other shows I used to watch were fun. But back to the Flash. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, throughout the rest of the season. Bart and Allen working together was very great. The Bart's actor that played him, his acting was very good. It was very fun and entertaining. I didn't have a problem with it, like I said, besides the whole Chill Bane situation. Him being brought up at the end again, we haven't seen for 4 episodes. The brush that disappeared at the end leads us to believe that there's still some timeline issues that they have screwed up that then still need to be fixed that they don't know about. I don't know who the other villain's going to be throughout the rest of the season, but we shall see if they're going to have to fight, I guess, the Speed Force again, possibly, or maybe Reverse Flash. I have no idea. We'll see. It's a mystery. That's basically it. I know Firestorm is supposed to come back. Robbie Amell, who is Stephen Amell's brother, the Green Arrow, Stephen Amell. Robbie Amell is supposed to be back on the show playing the Firestorm character, superhero again. How they bring him back to life and somehow some type of way. I have no idea if they have to get him from the past or he just comes back from the future, a different version of him from a different Earth, because that obviously always happens with them time traveling and whatnot, and worlds colliding. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, when the Flash continues on for the rest of the season, throughout the rest of the season, and we'll see hopefully if it gets renewed for 9th and final season. Hopefully, that's basically it. That's the end of my video. Thank you again for watching. If you let me know what you have to think about this in the comment section below. If you have watched it, what do you think about this? Obviously, with Nora and Bart. Nora here and Bart here, Barry Allen, his kids obviously being superheroes and trying to do everything by themselves without obviously their parents helping Team Flash and screwing things up, but they fixed it and made up for their mistakes. They righted their wrongs, obviously, and they made up for obviously everything that they screwed up and saved the day. And obviously, we'll see what happens. Like I said, if they're going to be coming back, more than likely a couple more episodes before the season's over, and that's basically it. And let me know if you actually have not watched the rest of this, the previous 5 episodes, which are Armageddon, part 1 through 5 of The Flash for season 8. And also, if you have not watched the last couple of seasons, obviously, I know some people get tired and fatigued and burnt out by all these superhero shows and they get a little annoyed with them after a while and they stop watching them. I understand that. We'll see. We'll see obviously what happens with that. You can let me know if you've stopped watching in the comment section down below. What's your favorite CW network Arrowverse show, obviously. And that's basically it. That's the end of my video. And my review for The Flash is latest current episode, which aired on Tuesday, the 9th of March, 2022, and it was season 8, episode 6. And that's basically it. Thank you again for watching my video and listening to this. And let me know what you have to say. Thank again in the comment section down below. Yeah, that's basically it. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye. Thank you.